you guys. I'm trying to help you out. Take it easy.
Stay calm, Dylan.
Hey everyone, it's Dylan from the Black Forest Wood Company. This week we're going to be showing you our build, delivery, and installation process for this $40,000 solid ebony bed set that we created. So we've got the frame itself and then the two matching nightstands that are also in brown ebony, and we're excited to show you our full process. A large part of the reason that this bed was so expensive was because of the material we used. So we're using two giant slabs of brown ebony from our friends down at GL Veneer, and as a side note, we did recently take a trip down to GL Veneer, so we'll have another one of our exciting wood buying videos coming up soon. But you can see that these slabs are nearly 20 feet long, and it took pretty well our entire team to safely maneuver them around. And this material is something that we've never even seen before or had the opportunity to work with. Even in all the years of buying and selling different types of lumber, this is a first for us, so it was quite exciting to get to try this out.
Okay. Open the door. Stay there. Nope. Try not to go off the slide here. Go on the slide now. Look at that. Are we smart or what?
Now, normally for a bed like this, we would prefer to yield the material out of dimensional lumber, but because we don't have access to brown ebony in dimensional lumber, we have to cut the pieces we need directly out of the live edge slabs, and we are limited on the material we have here, and our tolerances are quite tight. So this part of the process was a little bit nerve-wracking for us, as any miscuts here or any miscalculations would result in us kind of being short on an entire piece of material. And if we have to, let's say, order a new slab of brown ebony in, there is even a chance that from tree to tree that color match might not be perfect. So we always prefer to try and yield the material from one tree if possible. So this is a full bedroom set that our client has ordered. So we're obviously going to be creating the bed frame, which is for a California King mattress, and then two matching nightstands just with an open cavity beneath with one single push to open drawer on them. So we are going to show the process of the full set, but we're going to start with the process of the bed frame. Right now, what you're seeing Lechik and John assemble is the headboard that is going to go at the back of the bed. And when we were showing this bed on Instagram, a lot of people were assuming that these cavities were going to house some epoxy resin panels, but surprisingly, they're not. There is zero resin being used in this build, besides what we used to fill in some of the small cracks and voids. And we're actually going to be doing some Italian leather panels that will go in the back there. You guys will see once we get this bed into our client's home how the leather just ties really nicely into the rest of the space. But yeah, it is something a little different for us, completely solid wood here. What Lechik is doing here is routing out a reveal for the leather panels to sit in. The leather is going to be foam backed and then mounted to a plywood panel. So there's this little lip where the plywood is going to overhang, and then we can screw into the back of that leather panel to actually fasten it into the frame of our bed. And then here's the small amount of resin that I mentioned that we're going to use on this build. So we've used our Black Forest Coat Thin resin to fill in most of these, and then for any of the voids that we didn't quite get with that, we used some of our Black Forest CA glue. We're just using, I believe, the Color Effects Black just to give it a slight tint, and it'll just tie nicely into the rest of the wood here. And then what we're doing here is just pre-drilling for some of the hardware that's going to be used to assemble the different components of the bed. Now, we are just using traditional bed hardware here. Instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, we're keeping it simple, and we're using this traditional hardware that allows the side rails, the headboard, and the footboard to all kind of drop into place together. It makes installation of the bed very easy, and it also makes it quite easy if this client ever decides to move this piece of furniture out, that all of the components can be easily disassembled and moved to their new location. And then once we've got the hardware assembled onto the headboard, we can go ahead and do our test fit to ensure that everything's going to fit together properly. We've got the headboard clamped up into place. We've got some of the first sideboard coming in, and I believe they're going to come along with the rest of the components here. So for these main 4 components that we're looking at right now, the headboard, the 2 sideboards, and then the footboard, we tried to pick the most premium material that we could because these components of the bed are going to be the most visible. Same thing goes for the nightstands. We tried to pick really nice, just premium stock for those pieces. And here you can especially see what I'm talking about. Not the censored blur. Look at the nice premium wood. Look at that beautiful wood grain there, everyone. Just keep your attention focused there. But yeah, and you'll see as well, once we get our Black Forest furniture oil applied onto these pieces, it's really going to make all of those black striations throughout the wood grain pop. Then before we get any finish on a piece, we always like to go around and give everything a once over, just kind of for quality control. Obviously we do this before the pieces leave the shop as well, but sometimes we'll find little cracks that have even opened up during the manufacturing process that we may not have seen on our first initial round of fills. So it's just always best to do this one more time before you put that oil on. Then once all the pieces are up to our standards and sanded up to 320 grit, we can go ahead and apply our Black Forest furniture oil. So again, I've mentioned this before, but it is just a natural plant-based finish. And what I like about it is it doesn't do anything to really alter the grain in terms of color, besides beautifying it and giving it that wet look, but it doesn't really amber it. It is also very durable. These types of hard wax finishes were originally designed to be used as hardwood floor finishes, so they're very, very durable. They stand up to lots of wear and tear, and we even have pieces in public restaurant settings with oil finishes on them that are still holding up very well. So you don't have to be scared of using an oil finish. I will say though, you know, it's not bulletproof. You should still expect maintenance, but for a finish that you can apply at home, they give you absolutely amazing results.
Okay, I was like, dude, I don't know, like all of what you just said makes no sense, but okay.
Need to make a thing, mark how deep go, screw, hole.
Instead of just doing that.
So those, yeah, I think those screw into the leather panels, right? Is our plan?
As far as I'm aware, these are staying, and the upholstery panels are just getting screwed to these panels.
Okay, so we'll like screw through the back of these into the...
Yeah, they're getting screwed into the headboard.
Okay, cool.
So now that we have our 2 coats of oil on everything, we can go ahead and install these plywood panels that I was talking about earlier. So these clearly do not have the leather on them right now, but we're screwing them into our frame, and then once we get on site, the designer is going to have the panels there for us. So you will have to wait and see the final result. But now we can move on to the production of the nightstands for this bedroom set. So a lot of the components on these nightstands don't require quite as thick material as what we needed for the bed. So we are in fact resawing a lot of these pieces on our Laguna bandsaw just so we can get the maximum yield out of this material. Here's a really nice shot as well that you can see that veining and marbling that the brown ebony is known for. Again, this is really, really critical, this step of the process, because it's not like we have a pile of lumber that we can go pick new material from. So we have to be very careful when picking these pieces and gluing them up to get the most out of them. We did struggle a little bit, if I'm being honest, with some of this brown ebony. It had more checking and cracking than we would have typically liked to see. That's definitely not any error of GL veneer in their drying. This species is just notorious for that because it is so dense and kind of brittle that it just wants to check during the drying process. For an adhesive on these glue ups, we're using Titebond 3, even though this is still an interior piece. You could get away with using Titebond 2, but Titebond 3 is the superior adhesive, so we just prefer to use it whenever we can. Once the pieces are cured and out of the clamps, we can go ahead and push them through our thickness sander. So this is a triple drum thickness sander. We have 120 grit, 150 grit, and 180 grit on the inside of it, and that allows us to eliminate some of the initial random orbit sanding, but it's not like you can just go straight to 180 grit from the big orbital sander. We usually still start at 120 or 150 grit, simply because the sanding marks left from this big sander are quite coarse. And now we can begin working on the drawer boxes that are going to go in these nightstands. So this client has requested blackened ash drawer boxes. So that's what you can see us prepping here right now. We are also doing a dovetail on them, which we did miss the process of, but we did that on our dovetail machine. They're not hand cut on these. And here are the ash drawer bottoms that we have as well. So they don't look like much right now, but we're doing the usual stain that you see us apply to a lot of our X spaces. So it's just a black stain from General Finishes, but it gives the ash, in my opinion, like a really kind of luxurious look, as opposed to the more kind of golden color that it naturally has, which is still nice, don't get me wrong, but for some of these high-end projects, they are looking for something a little more sleek. So after we apply our stain to the inside of the components for the drawers, we like to put a little bead of silicone in the dado that's going to house the drawer bottoms. Obviously you don't want to glue the drawer bottoms because that's going to prevent any expansion or contraction, but what the silicone does is stops them from rattling, so you don't get that annoying noise, and it still allows them to expand and contract. And then once everything is assembled and put together, we can then go ahead and put on the black stain to the outside of the components, and there you can also see a really nice shot of those dovetails that we've put in. Once all of the stain is cured, then we're applying our Black Forest furniture oil just as a clear coat for some protectant. The General Finishes stain that we use only gives color. There's no protectant built into that, so you do have to take that additional step. Then we can go ahead and start applying our furniture oil to the actual components of the nightstands themselves that are constructed from the brown ebony. So like I mentioned earlier, we did our best to pick the absolute most premium material that we could for these pieces. Again, looking for the most veining and variation in color that we can find. Some of the pieces that went on the bottom of the nightstand, we did put the, let's say, lower grade material and then save the nicer stuff for the top and sides. Then once we've got our finish cured, we can assemble our sliding dovetail joinery. This joinery is very, very strong. It requires no glue to put together, but what we do like to add is a screw on the outside. So in a minute here, you're gonna see once we have the entire boxes assembled and everything slid together, we add 2 screws into the joinery and then we plug them afterwards with matching brown ebony.
Drop yours down a little bit. Back now. Oh, sorry, I didn't know your hand was still under it.
And then here we go, putting those plugs in that I mentioned just a second ago. And this is very similar to what we do in the frames of our doors because those are screwed into the actual framing of the house, and then we just apply a plug and a matching wood species. And then once we have our nightstands assembled, it's time to install the hardware. So we like to use the Bloom soft touch door slides. We've used them for, I don't know, pretty well all of our cabinets that we've done now at this point, and we get little to no callbacks from any of our customers about any issues with these slides. So we know that they're very reliable with repeated use because some of those projects have been out there over 10 years even with slides on them. And what we're doing here is using PL Premium to actually attach the drawer front to the drawer box itself. This is maybe not your most, let's say, traditional or common method of fastening a drawer front. We did have a reason for it. You can see that our drawer front is a little bit thinner than, let's say, your typical drawer front, and this prevented us from being able to put any screws through the back of it. So using an adhesive like PL just eliminates the need for any screws. And finally, after grinding for a couple months to get this job finished, we're finally ready to head out for the delivery to our client's home in Whistler. So we're packing everything onto a crate. Brad and Leszek are going to drive it out, and then me, Haley, and Jack are going to get on a plane and meet them out there. But we will see you guys when we're out in Whistler. So we're just here on site right now getting ready to begin setting up our furniture package that we brought out. So we're gonna start with the bed and then we'll probably move on to the mantle, and the last thing we're thinking that we'll do is the door. But it is a very, beautiful winter morning compared to what we have in Calgary. At least it's pretty warm compared to Calgary, so we're liking it. And it's a gorgeous house, so we're really excited to show this off to you guys.
So this is how they get into the house. They take a ski lift up.
Yeah, if you don't feel like taking the stairs.
I'm so poor.
That's good audio.
Oh, you gotta put that in.
I'm gonna.
Go too quick.
Yeah, let Jack get down.
That was so awkward. Okay.
Going way over on an angle here. We're trying to stay vertical.
Yeah, we're trying to go around the ladder, Brad.
Switch spots with me, because I'm not taking that much weight. Let me go where you are.
Well, okay, you shouldn't be on the end. You should be on the side, Jack.
I know, but it was leaning all towards you guys. I'm trying to help you out.
Take it easy. Stop arguing with it. Like, just let's calm down for a sec.
All right.
Just gotta stay calm.
Stay calm, Dylan. Okay, so can we just take a break?
Yeah, we gotta get in the house first. Yeah.
All right.
Once we're in the threshold, you guys set her down.
My hands gave out, Dylan. Don't look at me like that. I'm doing my best.
Here. Yep. Gotta crouch in that doorway. Okay, we gotta go lower.
You set her down here, boys.
Or the head food.
So we still, even if they're easy lifts, we need two people on one on each end to make sure we don't touch any walls, right?
But nothing is going to be that heavy.
But that's going to be the heavy thing.
The door will be that heavy, like you said.
Well, I know, but we don't have to carry it through the house.
Yes,
that's
we
all
don't.
I mean.
You're right. Cool.
But yes, the door is going to be the hard part.
Yeah. There's like 2 people anyway.
There you go,
Yeah.
guys. Yeah,
here,
I got
Brett,
them up this
just
far.
throw it up this one.
You want it on there too?
Yeah, throw all 3 up.
You sure? I didn't want to overwork you guys. I know I could take 3, but I wasn't sure about you guys. There you go. Oh man, that last couple steps was kind of tough actually. Hey.
You guys are kind of wearing matching outfits.
Yeah, a little bit. I didn't realize that. Shit, wardrobe change.
Yeah. I actually planned it. I waited to see what Jack was gonna wear. Yeah.
So we should unwrap our sides,
Okay.
and we should unwrap our feet, and the screws are all wrapped into one of the feet. Right here. Big puller with foam.
Drop my hoodie for a minute here.
There we go. That should be enough room. Give us as much room as we can. So, Leshik, you can hold that one up for now.
We gotta stand
We're
this
gonna
up.
stand this up, and then Brad, you can stand behind it and keep it balanced. So,
Why wouldn't it? That's what I said. Jeez.
Okay. That's I'll go right over there.
Yep.
Good.
That's good there. So you hook your end in.
I don't think it's a 90.
Okay, we're in.
You're in both hooks.
Maybe for nanoing, we should do some of the high traffic areas on the bed.
Yeah.
Like just these.
Yeah, that's
we'll
fine.
probably have time tomorrow anyway.
Oh, we're gonna have we'll have time today.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get the other side on. Alright, not 100%. I'm gonna have to drive those in real slow.
That's a nice fit.
Oh yeah. And I'm having a trouble with it. Ooh, I'm going deaf back here. Okay,
That's all 4?
that's all 4.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm in, or you?
There we go.
Okay,
Sweet.
push it down. There we go, that's it.
That's in.
You could jump up and down on this bed, even though it's against every rule in every children's book ever made. Set her down like this.
And then we'll pivot it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got our bed set up and it's in place, and we're just gonna go around right now and put some ceramic just on some of the more exposed faces that we haven't yet. So we're using our diamond coating right now that we're gonna be applying on here, and we may come back and put some top coat on as well, but this will just help give some durability to the exposed surfaces. Oh, this?
It's all full. It's all held together in different ways. We can't lift the sides, or they'll lift out of the headboard. We can't lift the footboard because it'll lift out of the sides. So we can't pick it up from either end. We need to like pick it up. We need to get 2 people basically We can't stand and lift it. We have to be on our knees and lift it from the feet. One person per foot. And just lift it up like that from our knees and just kind of lunge it. Honestly, that's the only way to do it.
So we'll need them back up here for that.
Yep. Well, we're
a little bit more that
way. About an inch, a little more towards you, Brad.
Okay. All right.
Okay, that's about.
So we'll go back onto the wood.
That's
then?
about good, and then we'll go straight back. And once we're
This corner seems like it needs to go. Your corner's good.
Hey,
This
Dylan,
corner needs to go back
This
over.
distance should be the same on
Yeah,
our
once
board.
we push her back, we'll try to
Yeah,
we'll center it a little bit.
Okay.
now.
Okay, you gotta go farther on, guys.
Okay. Careful not to get the top dirty.
Okay. Lift it up and over the headboard.
Foot. Hey, look, we did it right.
Lovely.
It looks so small like this. Like it looks tiny.
But this is like the biggest mattress you can get. This is
Yeah.
like California King.
Yeah.
Okay, so there we have it. Our install is complete. The bed went very, very smooth. You know, we didn't really have any issues at all getting this assembled. I would say the hardest part was probably like the 50 stairs that we had to take from the truck to actually get into the house, carrying everything. But other than that, everything went really smooth. This is also part of a larger furniture package that we've created. So we're gonna have another video where you're gonna get to see our process of creating a solid waterfall Bubinga door, a solid waterfall Bubinga mantle, and you might even see some of the ski hooks that we installed in his ski room. So thank you guys for taking your time to watch this week's video. We really appreciate you taking that time, and we will see you next week.